Most people spend their lives trapped in cycles of conflict, arguing about the same problems, feeling misunderstood, and carrying grudges that quietly poison every interaction because they've never learned the real art of solving problems with people. The truth is, most conflict isn't about the argument on the surface. It's about what's unspoken beneath it: hurt feelings, broken trust, old wounds, or unmet needs. When you don't know how to break this cycle, you either explode, shut down, or spend your energy trying to win instead of actually solving the problem. But real strength, real leadership, and real peace come from learning how to move past ego, manage your emotions, and approach every conflict with strategy, empathy, and clarity. In this video, I'm breaking down the blueprint for resolving problems with anyone: friends, family, partners, colleagues, so you can stop living in drama and start building relationships that are strong, respectful, and drama-free. If you're ready to end endless arguments, get to the root of what matters, and build the kind of connections that last, this is your step-by-step guide to solving problems with people for good. Seeing the real problem, not just the surface issue, is the first step in any meaningful resolution, because most arguments and conflicts are about something much deeper than the words being spoken in the moment. People fight over chores, money, timing, or tone of voice, but underneath the surface, the real problem is often about feeling unappreciated, not heard, disrespected, or unsafe. If you try to fix the surface issue without recognizing what's driving it, the problem will keep coming back, just in different forms. The strongest move you can make in any conflict is to pause and ask yourself, what's really going on here? What am I feeling beneath the frustration or anger? What might the other person be feeling, fearing, or missing? When you get curious instead of defensive, you start to see patterns. Maybe it's about trust, old pain, or unmet needs. This deeper awareness lets you address the root cause and opens the door to conversations that actually heal instead of just winning the argument. If you're willing to look beyond the immediate trigger and search for the real source of the problem, you'll find solutions that last and relationships that grow stronger, not weaker, every time you face conflict. Solving problems with people starts with seeing through the noise to what really matters. Calming the storm by controlling your emotions first is the foundation of any productive problem solving, because when you let anger, fear, or hurt run the conversation, you lose the ability to listen, think clearly, or make wise choices. Most conflicts escalate not because the issue is unsolvable, but because people react from a place of raw emotion, shouting, withdrawing, or trying to win at any cost. Before you even try to fix the problem with someone else, you have to ground yourself. This means taking a pause, stepping back, and asking, what am I really feeling right now? Is it sadness, embarrassment, frustration, or something deeper that has nothing to do with this moment? Emotional regulation is not about suppressing or ignoring your feelings. It's about acknowledging them without letting them hijack your behavior. Techniques like deep breathing, counting to 10, or even taking a short walk can help reset your nervous system so you don't say things you'll regret or miss what the other person is actually saying. When you show up calm and centered, you become a safe space for real dialogue, inviting the other person to do the same. Controlling your emotions is not about being cold or robotic. It's about giving yourself the power to respond instead of react, to listen instead of attack, and to steer the conversation toward healing instead of destruction. If you can learn to pause, breathe, and own your feelings, you set the stage for every problem to be solved with respect, clarity, and lasting peace. Listening deeper, truly hearing what the other person is saying, not just waiting for your turn to speak, is the most underrated and powerful tool in solving problems with people. Most arguments stay stuck because each side is more focused on defending their position than understanding the other's pain, fear, or unmet needs. The moment you shift from "how do I prove I'm right" to "what are they really trying to tell me?" everything changes. True listening means giving your full attention, putting away distractions, and listening with the goal of understanding, not to argue, judge, or fix. Sometimes what someone needs most is just to be heard and validated. "I can see why you'd feel that way," or "That must have been hard for you." When people feel genuinely heard, their defensiveness drops and their willingness to collaborate rises. Listening deeper doesn't mean you have to agree or give up your perspective. It means creating a space where both sides feel safe to be honest. The more you listen, the more you learn about the real issues beneath the surface, and often just feeling understood can be enough to melt away most of the problem. In conflict, be the person who listens with empathy and curiosity. Not only will you solve problems faster, but you'll also build trust and respect that make every relationship stronger. Speaking your truth with assertiveness, not aggression, is the key to resolving conflict without starting new battles or shutting the other person down, because honest communication is only effective when it's delivered with respect and clarity. When you express your needs, boundaries, or feelings, it's tempting to come across either too forceful, blaming, criticizing, or demanding, or too passive, hiding your real thoughts and allowing resentment to build. Assertive communication strikes the balance. You use I statements, focus on your experience, and state what you need or expect without attacking the other person. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try, "I feel unheard when my concerns are brushed aside, and I'd like us to make space for each other's perspective." This approach prevents the other person from getting defensive and opens the door for honest, productive discussion. Assertiveness is about standing up for yourself while still showing care for the relationship, clear, direct, and respectful. When you communicate this way, you show maturity and invite the other person to do the same, making it easier to find solutions that honor both sides. If you want to solve problems for good, make it your goal to speak your truth clearly, calmly, and with the intention to connect, not just to win. Creating common ground is the secret weapon for turning conflict into collaboration. Because the moment you stop seeing the other person as an opponent and start searching for mutual understanding, you both move from fighting against each other to working side by side. Most people get locked into me versus you thinking, where every conversation is a tug of war over who's right, who's wrong, or whose needs matter more. But true resolution begins when you ask, where can we agree? What do we both want to feel or accomplish? Sometimes it's as simple as both wanting to be heard, respected, or safe, even if you see the world differently. Building empathy doesn't mean giving up your stance. It means showing you care enough to step into their shoes and understand their motivations. Look for shared values, goals, or even frustrations. "I know we both care about making this work," or "We both want to feel understood here." By creating this common ground, you shift the energy from competition to partnership, and suddenly solutions become possible that neither side could see before. Even with difficult people, searching for overlap, no matter how small, softens resistance and creates space for new agreements. The strongest relationships aren't built on perfect harmony, but on the willingness to stand together in the middle of a problem and say, "Let's figure this out together." That's how you move from opponent to ally, even in the hardest moments. Solving, not blaming, is the turning point where real progress happens, because the moment you drop the need to be right or to make the other person the villain, you open the door to creative solutions and lasting change. Most arguments get stuck in cycles of accusation and defensiveness. One person lists grievances, the other responds with excuses or counterattacks, and nothing actually gets fixed. The way out is to shift your focus from "who caused this" to "how do we fix this together?" This means asking practical questions. What outcome do we both want? What's one thing each of us can do differently going forward? What agreement can we make right now? Avoid using words like always or never and focus instead on the specific behaviors or situations you want to change. It's about being proactive, not reactive, suggesting steps, making requests, and offering solutions, rather than replaying past mistakes. This approach turns conflict into collaboration and helps both people feel responsible for making things better, not just proving a point. When you refuse to play the victim or the prosecutor and instead commit to real action, you transform blame into growth and lay the groundwork for peace that actually lasts. Solving, not blaming, is how you move from drama to resolution and from frustration to real progress with the people in your life. When to compromise and when to stand firm is a crucial skill in solving problems with people, because not every battle is worth fighting, and not every need can be sacrificed for the sake of harmony. The art of compromise is knowing when it's healthy to bend, letting go of small preferences, meeting halfway, or making adjustments that serve both sides without betraying your own values. Real compromise happens when both people give a little, creating a solution that works even if it isn't perfect. But there are also times when standing firm is essential, especially when your boundaries, self-respect, or core values are on the line. If the other person asks you to accept disrespect, violate your non-negotiables, or lose your sense of self just to keep the peace, that's not compromise, that's surrender, and it always leads to resentment. The key is to get clear about what matters most to you before the heat of the moment. What are your true deal breakers? What are you willing to be flexible on? If you can answer these honestly, you'll be able to communicate your position calmly and stick to it even under pressure. Compromise is a strength when it's chosen from a place of clarity, not fear, and standing firm is a virtue when it's about protecting your worth, not winning an argument. The healthiest relationships are built by people who can give and take, but who never lose themselves in the process. Knowing when to compromise and when to stand firm is how you build respect, both from others and for yourself. The art of moving on, letting go if problems can't be solved, is the final, often most difficult step in mastering conflict with people, because some differences, wounds, or patterns simply can't be fixed, no matter how much effort or goodwill you bring. Sometimes, after honest conversations, attempts at compromise, and genuine effort from both sides, you realize the gap is too wide. Trust can't be rebuilt, values are too misaligned, or the same hurt keeps repeating no matter what changes are made. In these moments, clinging to the hope of resolution only drains your energy, breeds resentment, and keeps both people stuck in cycles of blame or disappointment. Real strength is knowing when you've done your part, accepted what can't be changed, and chosen peace over perpetual conflict. Moving on isn't failure, it's wisdom and self-respect, a recognition that not all connections are meant to last, and that your growth often requires letting go of what no longer serves you. When you accept that some problems can't be solved together, you free yourself to heal, rebuild, and create space for new, healthier relationships. The most powerful move you can make is to walk away with grace, gratitude for the lessons, and a clear heart, knowing you honored your truth and left nothing unsaid. That's how you transform pain into wisdom and endings into new beginnings. The real test of any relationship isn't whether you can avoid problems, but whether you can face them with honesty, calm, and the willingness to work through what matters most. Solving problems with people isn't about always getting your way, winning every argument, or forcing others to agree. It's about building enough trust, self-control, and empathy to create peace even when you disagree. Every time you choose understanding over ego, action over blame, and clarity over chaos, you get stronger and your relationships get deeper. Sometimes solving the problem means finding a new solution together, and sometimes it means letting go of battles that aren't worth fighting. What matters most is that you show up as your best self, grounded, honest, and willing to do the work. If you're ready for better connections and less drama, subscribe for more Stoic Night strategies. Drop a comment with your biggest lesson from solving problems with others, and share this with someone who's ready to leave old conflicts behind. Peace doesn't just happen, you create it, one choice at a time.